everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Barn Table Talks. I'm your host, Benji Abanahe, here with my co-host, Travis Corman, and we have two very special guests on the episode. We have Angie Messer and Spencer Burkert from Ameriprise Financial here with us today. How are you guys doing?
Great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, happy to have you guys on the show. We're going to jump right into what we always started off with. It's a little question of the day, so we're going to ask you guys, what is your favorite thing about the holidays or favorite holiday tradition?
You want to go first?
I'll start. I have two.
That's way too many.
I know.
You're good.
Well, he asked two questions. So my favorite thing about the holidays is just slowing down and, enjoying each other, enjoying family. And my favorite holiday tradition is putting up the ornaments on the tree. So all of my kids and the whole family gathers around, and we put them up one by one and tell stories about each one.
Really?
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, do you have one tree, or is this a multi-tree?
We
at the
have
house?
one tree,
One
but
tree.
Each kid got a special ornament each
Growing
year.
up?
Yes, that reminded us of something that they did that year, whether it be a sport they played or an instrument they started doing or a business they started. And so I write on each ornament memories of that year, and so we put them up one by one.
Now, do you
each
guys do
Christmas.
is it like vacation stuff too? Like we went to this place.
Yes,
do you guys
sometimes.
get pick up on
Yep.
stuff too?
Last year we went to Italy and Portugal, and so I got ornaments from there.
Fun.
And
Awesome.
yeah, special family trip. Yep.
Fun.
Nice.
Fun. You said it slows down. That's opposite. That's opposite of what most people say in the holidays, I would say,
Well,
right?
that's because you have young children, Travis. My children are older, and so as the kids grow up, you can kind of put your stake in like what your family tradition is going to be. No, I'm not going to run around to, aunts and great aunts and uncles and every, person possible. I'm going to stay home and I'm going to enjoy this time with my family.
That's good.
Awesome.
How's your husband do with that? He doesn't seem like the slow down type. How does he do?
He does okay.
Does he? Good. Good. What
Spencer?
about you, Spencer?
I'd say my favorite thing is just spending time with family. My wife and I, we're big family people. So she's one of 9, and her mom is one of 12.
Wow.
So real big family. We always get together. The food is incredible. And this year's a little bit special for us because we're expecting our first child. So
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you.
That's awesome.
We're really looking forward to it, and creating our own traditions.
It'd be a little
too.
awkward
Yeah.
if you said you weren't at this point.
Yeah.
At some point, that one may see this, and it may be awkward.
Yeah, but just spending time with family is the biggest thing for us.
Yeah.
What about you, Benji? Coming from Boston, what do you got?
Coming from Boston, I don't know. I'd say definitely the family part. That's a big part of it too. But I love the desserts and sweets that come with Christmas. That's just one of my favorite things. Just Oreo balls, Reese peanut butter balls. Like you can think of anything. I love desserts, so that is probably my favorite part of it. Is just baking and eating the sweets. So
I'd say if it's around to me now, I'd say just recently we've really started to focus more on time versus things. And I really enjoy taking time with, the wife and kids and traveling. We do a little bit of travel between Christmas and New Year's, and it seems like that and seeing that fun and me not being stressed or being around for the phone call to, with the business, do the end of the year sales stuff or taking that time to actually do that. And then I do love the food. Any holiday, I love food. So I'm in on the food too, but I'd say those are the two things that I like the most on it.
definitely.
So,
yeah.
But okay, guys, why don't you do a little bit about your branch and kind of how you guys got to what you are today? And either one of you can start. This is just.
I'll start since I was
Okay.
here first. I've been a financial advisor for 15 years, and I've been a certified financial planner for 8 years. And a lot of people don't realize that a certified financial planner is a step kind of above a financial advisor. So there's additional training and classes and certifications that are required, additional continuing education, to where we really provide comprehensive financial planning for clients. It's not just, I'm a financial advisor and I'm going to invest your money and buy stocks and bonds. It's how much are you saving? Where do you want to be in the future? Are you on track for that? Do you have your estate planning in order? We work with other professionals on estate planning and taxes. So it's really an umbrella that covers somebody's entire financial life. Spencer's been a partner with me for 3 years, a little bit over 3 years, and he has the same certifications. And our team is the Messer Rust Burkert advisors at Ameriprise Financial.
Gotcha.
So
Awesome.
Yeah. So my background, I've been in the business about 4 years. Angie picked me up right out of college, so I was kind of fresh,
Impressionable, like.
Yeah, so I graduated University of Cincinnati with a finance degree, and I had actually job shadowed Angie several times when I was in college. And then when I came out, I graduated May 2nd and started at Ameriprise May 4th. So just kind of came out, and I've been learning the ropes the last couple years and went out and got the designations, the CFP. Really great learning experiences there. And of course, learning under Greg and Angie has been an amazing experience. They're fantastic teachers. So I've really enjoyed my time there at Ameriprise.
How is the transition? And I would imagine this is similar to what I'm going to say, like we have here, where sometimes there's a looked at you as because you're young, you don't know. I don't know what you call that. You haven't been in the business long enough. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, how do you break that? How do you get? Because you've been cutting your own way here and stuff. And has that been challenging or what?
It's obviously a big hurdle. The stereotypical financial advisor, I think you would say over 50, gray hair, been around a while.
Angie's so thankful you're not describing her.
But
old white men.
But I look at it as an advantage because I know our tools. I know how to use technology. I'm going to be around forever. I'm going to be around a while. So, when I'm talking to people and I'm bringing on new clients, more than likely I'm building a relationship that's going to last 30, 40 years. So obviously it is a hurdle, but at the same time, I look at it as an advantage because I'm going to have time to work with somebody. I'm not looking to retire anytime soon, obviously. So I think there's definitely big advantages to me being young.
And I think 2 points about that is that Spencer has me to go to just to, two heads are better than one. Hey, let's solve this together.
Team.
Yeah, he has the resources and the support there to be able to get over that, maybe somewhat inexperienced time under the belt. But the other thing is that I have a client who is a very, very smart business owner, and she is in her 70s. And she said a long time ago that someone told her, always have your professionals be younger than you because you want them to be with you the entire time and not have you get to retirement and then your financial advisor is retiring at the same time. So I think that's why Greg Rust and myself have always put a lot of emphasis on the fact of team. Spencer is my succession plan. So my clients, if and whenever I do get to the point of retirement, they have this continuity with Spencer as well.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
And I'll add to that. As far as our team goes, we keep each other in the loop on everything. My clients, let's say I'm out for a week and one of them calls, Angie will be able to pick it up because she knows what's going on with that client. Same thing where, it's
And
vice
understand
versa
your
too.
mindset and where you're trying to take your clients to and stuff like that as well.
exactly.
Yeah. So at what point did you make the distinction in your career to go from just advisor to planner? Because obviously there's two different stages there. And I'm not going to lie, I wasn't really, before meeting you, and stuff like that, I wasn't aware that there's two different distinctions.
I wasn't either.
And stuff. So
Well-
expound on that a little bit. What do you...
I've always been an overachiever. So if somebody puts something in front of me, I want to do it the best that I possibly can and then some. And there are these distinctions out there. There's actually lots of other distinctions as well, but I felt like the one that was most comprehensive and appropriate for me and also our community was the certified financial planner. So when that was put in front of me, there are some things that certified financial planners can do that financial advisors cannot. I won't get into that because it kind of gets into the weeds, but it became apparent to me that I was going to be able to work better for my clients if I had the CFP designation.
Were they asking you kind of for that advice in that simple role in a similar way anyways? I mean, it was
Yes.
kind of one of those things where like, no, we want you to take us there. Like, how do we get there? Type
Yes,
thing.
exactly.
Not just invest my money. I want to go with you on this journey type
Right,
thing. Yeah.
right. There's so many more things there's so many things that are more important than just, are you getting a half a % better on your investment performance than other. I mean, there's other things that can affect your long-term results much more than just that.
So growing up, I guess, question to both of you guys, did you know this is what you wanted to do? I guess, when did you realize you wanted to do finances?
You want to take that? Or?
I'll start.
They both say we don't want to.
I was a biology major in college. So
Cool.
I loved biology, and I thought I wanted to do something in the medical world. That didn't pan out for a couple of different reasons, one of which was because I wanted to stay close to home and have a family near my family. I didn't want to go away for 4 years to somewhere else. And the thing about biology is that I had a very strong basis in research, and our careers are a lot about research. There's always something changing. There's always something new coming out. There's always new tax codes, new rules and regulations, new investments that we have to research. And so that's where it kind of parlayed nicely into this. And so I won't go all into the story about how I got to be a financial advisor, but it is a natural fit. And our industry is one where there's a lot of crossover careers. So there's a lot of teachers that become financial advisors. We put a lot of emphasis on educating our clients. That's part of what we really are passionate about. And so it is a type of a career where there can be crossovers from other careers. So,
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say growing up, I don't think I distinctly said, I want to be a financial advisor. I don't know if anybody really says that, but, my uncle is a financial advisor. He lives up in northern Indiana, and he's always kind of been one of my mentors, and really look up to him. And when I went to college, I decided to major in finance. I've always been more number oriented, and, math has always been more of my stronger suit. So I kind of thought that might be a good fit, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do with that. And I guess a little background about me: my mom is a teacher. My dad is a small business owner. So again, one of the things we do is educate, and we help small business owners. So it kind of seemed like a pretty good fit for me. So, when I was coming through the pipeline in college, junior, senior year, I thought, hey, you know what, this is something I'm really interested in. And, I job shadowed Angie a few times, and, it went really well, and, I kind of just ran with it. So
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. I'm going to and we're all on different journeys financially, and you have you have a very diverse group of people you help through this journey, from Benji even to just myself sitting here at this table, but then taking different career paths that are associated with that. How do you advise, or how complex does it get when you have someone sitting here that's, 20-something years old, 30 years old, and you get someone that's 50 years old? I mean, but then also, a second side of that question that you may be able to tailor at the same time. Take a career path. You get a grower. Their retirement portfolio or their investment strategy, I would think, would be totally different than what mine would be as an employer or something like that. So, how does that all structure into what you're taking in the background?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that was a long question, Travis.
I know. I get long ones. I get long-winded sometimes.
Not really sure what you're asking, but
I can take that if you want me to.
I'll start.
Okay.
You finish. You're a good finisher.
Okay.
When we're working with somebody that's 20 years old, we don't have to be as exact, because they have a lot of time to make changes, and they have time they have time on their side. When we're working with somebody that's 50 or 60 and they're close to retirement, if they have not done the appropriate things, it's a lot harder to get them to the point where they want to be, because they don't have time on their side. So it gets more exact as it gets closer to the distribution phase. So there's the accumulation phase, there's the distribution phase. We see more mistakes on the distribution phase than we do the accumulation phase. It gets more difficult, and clients make more mistakes if they don't have guidance on taxes, on different, income, cash flow, things like that. So there's the old saying, when you're climbing Mount Everest, most of the mistakes, most of the bad things happen on the way down. So it's not so much just about the accumulation phase, it's how you get through the distribution phase.
You answered that way better than I could.
So you get to close this now. How you follow that up?
Yeah, that was really good. And the analogy I like to use with people is, everybody's playing their own game. A football player trying to go play basketball usually doesn't work out too well. So I think we live in a society today where we're so connected on social media and Facebook and, seeing your neighbors, just talking to people. One of the things what works for them might not work for you. So don't try to make it work. So what I mean by that is what works for Benji is not going to be what works for you. Mm-hmm. So, we work with everybody on a personalized standpoint. So, I don't know if that really adds much to what Angie said, but again, everything is a personalized situation, and a lot of times people can get caught up in the social media and seeing different, investment things and that sort of thing. And, it's not always going to work for you. So it doesn't, and it doesn't have to be complicated.
Yep.
Some of the best financial plans we see are honestly the simplest. So trying to overcomplicate things can honestly be a big mistake.
So you guys mentioned mistakes. What are some of the most common mistakes you see people run into, I guess, based on your guys' experience? What are some of those?
The most common mistake that I see, especially with younger folks, is not prioritizing their retirement or not prioritizing their other goals. So somebody comes out of college, they get their first actual real job, making, decent money, good money, whatever it might be. The first thing they do a lot of times is move up in their lifestyle. They buy a nicer car, they buy a house, they build a house, they, whatever, take their trips, things like that. That's all great. You need to reward yourself, but you need to pay yourself. And the way you do that is starting to save and invest for retirement. And I always use the analogy, there's nobody in this world goes without paying a cell phone. They would never go without a cell phone. Mm-hmm. But yet they go without putting money aside for their own retirement. So I think the biggest mistake is just not prioritizing it, focusing it, and then monitoring it along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'll say, I think a lot of the mistakes we see are stemmed from emotion. People reacting, quickly. That we see a lot of mistakes, and whether it's taking money out of a retirement plan early or not investing, there's usually a reason behind it, and it's usually emotionally driven. Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. So, one of my quotes that I love is, good investing is not necessarily about making good decisions. It's about consistently not screwing up, so a lot of mistakes we see are emotionally driven, and that's okay, because as humans, we're emotional, we're emotional. So, we're not going to be perfect, but limiting the big mistakes is mm-hmm. what you definitely need to do.
And like you said, we're so connected on mm-hmm. even social media. So comparatively, when you're looking at your neighbor or something, I bought this. Well, then I want to go buy something. It all adds up. But yeah, that's a great point. So from mistakes, then, what are some of the best things? What can I do? And I know that can range obviously from 20 years old to 50, but some of the better things I can do, or
I think like Spencer said, everybody's on a different journey and has different goals. But I think the most important thing is starting a plan and then monitoring it along the way. And we describe it just like, everybody goes and they get their annual health checkup with their doctor. Well, come have your annual health checkup with your financial advisor. Make sure that you're on track for the things that you want to achieve. it has to be monitored along the way and adjustments made.
And so once a year, would you recommend once a year?
It ranges. Sometimes when we're starting with a new client relationship, we like it to be much more often than that. In fact, sometimes we'll start out with monthly meetings, just so that they get to know kind of like, our terminology, what we want to be checking up on, and they can ask us questions. And then a lot of times it gets to the point of semi-annual or annual meetings, but no less than once a year.
Gotcha. So I'm overdue. Looks like I got to go in for a meeting.
What's your calendar? That's later.
You're on our naughty list.
So, on that, I guess with people of different ages, and just getting that education of saying, hey, I need to make an action probably, and educating yourself and knowing that you probably need to start sooner than later is the first step.
Yep. And actually, I have written down on my notes here, number one best thing, educate yourself. One thing that I have done over the last few years, I go and talk at North, South, and Greensburg. And this year I went to North in the fall, North Decatur, and spoke to their senior class about investing, finance, debt, budgeting, all of these things. And, it's pretty shocking how little education, little...
It's disappointing.
Yeah, it is a little bit disappointing. And, just talking to whether it's an hour and a half, those kids, I could tell they took something away from it. So educating yourself on this stuff is, the number, I would say it's probably one of the best things you can do for yourself.
I mean, you take that right there. And I do know that, as I was growing up and stuff, I probably didn't start when I should, but I had someone, hit me in the back of the head and say, hey, you probably need to start, thankfully. And it wasn't, when I was in high school or nothing, but just even having that piece, if you bumped up their education and their investment strategy, or their, when they start to pay attention to this stuff by, 4 or 5 years, you just did well worth the hour that you were there.
Yep.
If one kid, that makes a big difference. And, I think the people that hit me in the back of the head and say, you probably shouldn't spend everything you make,
Yeah.
And that sometimes that's your parents, sometimes that's not. Everybody comes from a personally different position, and stuff like that. Like you said, there's one person that stood out in your mind. I think everybody's probably got that one person that says, man, it looks like, either they got their ducks in a row, or for some reason you're drawn to them in that aspect. But yeah. So I see some notes over there. Top 3. What do you got over there? I need to educate yourself. What
educate
else
yourself, but I think 2 big ones are being disciplined and being patient, especially the younger you are. I am big into, I like fitness and consistently like going to the gym. Finance kind of works the same way. If you're wanting to accumulate and build wealth, it's kind of like going to the gym. You can't go to the gym for a month and expect to see a 6-pack, Same thing with finance. If you start saving and investing, you can't expect to be a millionaire in a month. You have to be disciplined, you have to be patient, and it's going to take time to do it. So I think that is, those are 2 big things, and those are 2 big hurdles that people have to overcome. It's one thing can be said about like 2008. We all know the big financial crisis. You open up your investment app and you see you're down 40%. What decision are you going to make? Are you going to cash out your portfolio, or are you going to stay invested for the long run, or maybe continue investing through that down period? I think if you can do that and stay patient and stay disciplined, I know Angie has seen it firsthand. You can do some amazing things.
Yeah. What do you think about, I know that there's a lot of stuff that goes on, commercials and all that stuff, but one of these big things that seems like they're pushing is your ability to invest yourself. You can buy and sell stock on your own. Just get this app or do it yourself. What are you guys' thoughts on all that? I've got my own, and I can start. I can start myself, but I've got my own thoughts on that. Me myself is stay in your lane.
I have personally looked at it and just played around with it a little bit.
He was trying to replace you, Spencer.
No, it was not. This was prior to Spencer.
He came to me and said, "Look, I don't know. I haven't had my annual meeting."
Going out solely and doing the research and trying. It's not as as easy as they try and, as they put it out there. So I'm curious. What do you guys think on?
Yeah, we don't consider the online apps to be our competition.
No.
Someone can go out on their own and invest that way if they want to put the time and energy into it and make all the mistakes that they're going to make at the beginning when they're trying to learn, figure out how to do it, right? Okay. So the discount investing apps, go for it.
And I wouldn't say I'm not putting it in competition, is what you guys say,
right?
But from an advisory standpoint, saying, hey, look, are you really going to take hours on end to research that? Are you really? You think the price is low, but is the price really low?
Right. And so I guess what I would go back to is just what I said early on, which is that there's so much more to financial health than just the investing. So there's all of the other that goes into it. How much are you investing? What is your return? What are the taxes? Are you managing the taxes? Are you on track to where you want to be for short-term or long-term goals? So, I don't have anything necessarily negative to say about the online investing.
You just said
but it's not just all you need.
Mm-hmm.
But investing isn't all just long-term retirement. You guys, you can set these short-term goals saying, hey, I would like to be able to buy a house. My next major purchase is going to be my own home in the future. How do I get there first? You guys take all of that into account
sure.
as
Absolutely.
well, right? It's not just you're going to cash out when you're 70, whatever that number may be, whatever it is, right? So how is that different than some aspects too? What would be?
I guess being on that track, I think I know where you're kind of going, but let's say I have a certain amount saved up, and like you said, I want to get a house, or I want to save up for something. What are some of the options that, say, if I went to you, and what are the options that are available there?
So time horizon is a big thing.
Okay.
Time horizon of your investment is something that has to be considered before you decide, hey, I need to invest in this. Because if you need your money in a year, do you put it in a 2-year CD? No. If you need your money in a year, should you consider stocks? Possibly. But again, there's always that risk of, hey, let's put our money in stocks and then
they're down 40%.
Exactly. Yeah. So time horizon is a huge consideration when it comes to investing. So, that's something we're having those conversations with people every single day.
I think too, when you're talking about something short term, it's about realizing what your priority is. So you can do it all, you just can't do it all at the same time. So if your priority is saving for a house, well, then what are you giving up over here? Are you maybe minimizing your retirement savings, which sometimes there's nothing wrong with that, depending upon what your timeline is. Maybe reducing your retirement savings if it makes sense, or reducing other discretionary spending that you're doing that really isn't as a high a priority for you right now. So it's about kind of putting things in line of where where it makes sense to focus on.
Wish I'd have known you about I'm older than I thought now. Probably 10 years ago. I had taken and cashed out some investments to pay for a vehicle at the time, and that is the worst thing I feel like I could have done. But nobody was there to tell me, and if they were, they didn't speak loud enough.
Yeah.
Or hit me in the head, it's like...
That would go at the top of my list of not necessarily cashing out the investments, but just purchasing a vehicle that is out of somebody's price range. So one of the things that I didn't realize when I was younger is that a purchase of a vehicle is one of the biggest investments that is guaranteed to go down in value. Mm-hmm. So you invest in stocks and bonds, you expect it to go up. You invest in real estate, houses, farmland, you expect it to go up. You invest in a car, truck,
right away.
Nothing happens other than going down.
Isn't it like you drive off the lot and it's already,
exactly,
I don't even know what the number is.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
So you're never going to get your money back out of that investment, which is why it's very important that it's within a reasonable range of what you can afford.
And on top of that, people will pay 7 to 12% interest to do it. So not only is that going to go down in value, you're paying 7 to 12% per year on a vehicle loan to do it.
Well, and as I look back now with a little bit more financial education than I had at that point, I cashed out investments that, let's say on the low end, we're making 5%, maybe making up to 10, who knows, I forget. But I lost the income and the time, right, piece of what that would have been to if I would have just been like, no, even if I'd have taken out money and borrowed it, I probably would have been ahead in comparison to use their money, not use mine.
Yeah.
Just to not have a bill every month.
Yeah.
So sometimes managing debt, I think, is more important education wise than saying you need to be debt free, because that's taken me a long time to try and understand that debt's not a bad thing. Improper debt, improperly managed debt, is more of a piece that needs to be. So
Yeah, and emotion too.
Yeah.
Again, that vehicle purchase was probably stemmed from an emotional decision. And that's where Angie
and a status thing.
Yeah.
A status thing.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, I need a new truck. All right, I can do a new truck.
And
I
that's,
can.
and that's one of the benefits of having a financial advisor
Yeah.
is somebody there that can be, that voice of reason.
Well, my voice of reason is to be very blunt with me, so I'm just telling you right up front. So, and I think Angie has been in the past. She knows this.
It's one of my specialties, being blunt.
Very forward.